Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a band that had 3 lead singers. A name inspired by Australian survival tactics. And enough hit songs to power an entire season of rock radio. Three Dog Night. More specifically, we're digging into their second LP, Suitable for Framing. Came out in 1969, so let's get into it. Three Dog Night was unusual in that there were 3 lead singers. Danny Hutton was an bubblegum pop singer. He had a solo hit on his own, Roses and Rainbows. He was a pal of Brian Wilson. And he was once even a cartoon character on the Flintstones. Chuck Negron was a Bronx-born singer with R&B chops and a doo-wop background. And Cory Wells was a kid from Buffalo, New York, with a rock edge and a soul background. He also had some television appearances on the Beverly Hillbillies and in a movie called Riot on Sunset Strip with his previous band, The Enemies. I'll add some links below. After a few unsuccessful attempts at solo careers, they decided to band together and try to find luck that way. This was either a stroke of genius or a logistical nightmare. Because imagine trying to harmonize when each of the 3 of the singers are trying to harmonize with each other and get the spotlight. But somehow it worked. They had a killer backing band. Then they landed a record deal, Dunhill Records, and proceeded to pretty much own the early 70s top 10 lists. The other members of Three Dog Night were Jimmy Greenspoon, who was a former session keyboardist. He had played with everyone from Linda Ronstadt to Eric Clapton, and he had a stint in Tommy Chong's band from Cheech and Chong. And in that band, he met Floyd Sneed, the drummer. He was a Canadian kid who had drummed in Tommy Chong's band. Mike Alsop was the guitar player. He was an amazing guitarist. He was from Modesto, California. And Joe Shermy, who was a very funky and rocking bass player. Suitable for Framing was the band's second album. It was released in 1969. Their self-titled debut album had already introduced the world to their signature 3-part vocal attack. But this was the album where they really found their groove and scored some serious hits in the process. One of the things that made Three Dog Night stand out was their ability to take songs written by other artists and absolutely own them and make the iconic versions of those songs. They weren't just a cover band, though. They were a cover band that stole songs so completely that the original artist's version usually came second. Take Easy to Be Hard, for example. It was originally from Hair, the rock musical, and it was written by Galt McDermott, James Rado, and Jerome Ragney. Three Dog Night took this hippie lament about the lack of empathy in late 60s society and turned it into a gospel-tinged soul ballad that hit number 4 on the Billboard charts. I've included a link below to a TV appearance where they're doing it. Then there's Eli's Coming. It was written by Laura Nyro. I'm sure you've heard her name. She was a songwriter so good that other musicians basically lined up to steal from her. Nero's original version was theatrical and moody. Three Dog Night turned it into a swaggering, horn-driven funk rock masterpiece. There's a link below to a very cool early music video of them doing this on ABC's Music Scene in 1970. Lady Samantha was a pensive ballad with a strong rock edge. It was written by Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Three Dog Night's version of it hit the charts a full year before Elton John was even known in this country. And my favorite track on the album, Celebrate, was a huge hit. It reached number 15 in the Billboard hit charts. The Chicago horn section is on this track. They added their magic to the track. And it was written by Alan Gordon and Gary Bonner, who also happened to write Happy together by the Turtles. The success of Suitable for Framing set the stage for Three Dog Night's absolute chart dominance of the early 70s. They were one of the biggest and most popular bands of that time. From here, they'd go to rack up 21 top 40 hits, including Mama Told Me Not to Come, written by Randy Newman, who later thanked them for sending his kids to college with the money he earned off their royalties. And Joy to the World, which everybody knows. The Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog tune. That was written by Hoyt Axton. The band didn't particularly like the song, but they were persuaded to record it, and it, of course, became the song that they're primarily known for. My stepsister and I used to sing that song at the top of our lungs when we were playing in the backyard. And we'd do it until the neighbors came out and yelled at us to shut up. This album was the one that showed that they had staying power. It proved that their formula of impeccable vocal harmonies, killer song choices, and a backing band that could really play wasn't a fluke. Unfortunately, later, some of the band members became involved in sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and eventually the band broke up. But they had a fantastic run at the top of the charts in the early 1970s. So what's your favorite track from Suitable for Framing? Leave it in the comments below. Are you an Eli's Coming fanatic, or do you think Easy to Be Hard is the LP's secret weapon? I've included some links of band performances from TV and a little picture of Danny Hutton as Danny Hutstone on the Flintstones, and some other goodies in the description below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more classic album breakdowns, and maybe, just maybe, go spend some Three Dog Night. You'll love it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one.